I just came across the Microsoft research posting around the latest the developments they had on Opti-Guide. And that inspired me to start thinking, so why should I care about it? There's a lot of cases where optimization delivers significant value. For strategic cases, in this case, we want to perhaps plan the locations of the next distribution hubs, or in for operations as how do I route empty containers in feed legs, or how do I place containers on a naval vessel, for instance, cases that I've been involved in. In scheduling, planning the strength of the workforce that I have, for instance, in a hospital, planning how many people do I need of different skills. Maybe I have different engagement levels with the different people, or engagement models, so I have the ability to scale up and down, but still maintain the SLA that I intend to provide. And then when I come to operational decisions, how do I plan shifts? How do I allocate tasks for the day? Where I want to optimize not only for the SLAs, but also maybe training opportunities on the job, or people's happiness and feeling of fairness. So it's a multiple objective optimization problem. And there's obviously loads of examples in network optimization and in construction. One of the things that I was involved in was, can I optimize the design of an undercarriage of an oil rig? And can I continuously tweak the planning and ordering of scaffolding, which is a lot of money in these cases, so as I can minimize the amount of time I tear it up and recreate it, rebuild it, and still cater for different skill sets that come on the shop floor. So quickly, just at a high level, optimization paradigm is you have some context that you're working within. You've got resources that you need to choose and decide what to do with them. Sometimes the question is, how many of those resources do I need? You're doing the whole exercise to get best outcomes, and I deliberately say outcomes rather than just one outcome. And the whole field around how do you do multi-objective optimization is an interesting one to discuss. And obviously the life is complicated because there's solutions that are not viable or not allowable for many, many reasons. And the challenges that come our way are usually around the fact that I've got many resources so the problem is big and takes a long time to formulate and obviously to solve. Many times the solution is not a deterministic one, but lives within a world of chaos, of stochastics, and I need to optimize not a simple function, but a distribution, probability distribution. And obviously I want to scale up in many ways so as it's more relevant and effective in my decision making. So the opportunities for generative AI are quite amazing in this specific space. One of the things that is always a concern is that it takes a lot of time to formulate the problem and analyze and check the results and come back. So the loop could be months from when the question is posed. I can think of an example where it takes a year to do all the analysis of the scenario modelings and so forth and come up with some recommendation for the long-term activities. It would be amazing to reduce the time to solution so as the analysts can focus on coming up with better solutions rather than battling the technology. Of course, we always are on the boundaries of what we can do with regards to scale. The more we can put into the solution with regards to refinement, with a number of questions we can ask, number of decisions we can make, number of scenarios we can assess, we are in a situation where we can get a better solution. For instance, scale can limit me to say, okay, I can do optimization at only a national level, but I would like to make decisions at government office region level or postcode level even. But I just usually just don't have the time or the capacity, the compute capacity to handle it. This is linked, right? Sometimes to be able to solve problems in the real world, we need to simplify. Sometimes the simplification is an oversimplification that causes us to not make optimal decisions. The players that I'm thinking of in this case are in the people who are dealing with planning, with decisioning. So you've got obviously the executive who will just want to make data-driven decisions, obviously, but they want the best ones and they want the most granular ones and the most refined ones, and they want the speed. The operations research practitioner would like to be able to take all the boring stuff, put it away so they can be creative, they can follow new ideas, articles, methodologies, technologies. And the planner would like to be able to evaluate many more scenarios, for instance. Again, speed is important. Have a lot of automation with regards to, in this case, preparing and understanding the insights that come from all these different optimization solutions, and automate some recommendation that is proposed, maybe even integrate it into other systems. So there's already a few things that I've come across where people are talking about this. One of them is IBM, that are talking about a co-piloting of optimal decision making. It's kind of a tool that interacts with decision makers in several stages. And interestingly, quite similar, the latest presentations I've heard from Microsoft Research are in the same space. I like the quote around teaching LLMs to think like optimization experts. They're also, in Microsoft Research, are providing not only a paradigm or a tool that wraps around the work, but they also trained a small model to make some of the same things that the IBM research people were doing, but with a much smaller model. And that comes with significant benefits. And of course, I cannot but mention that I already talked about scenario modeling using agentic AI in August 2024. And that's one of my most watched videos so far. One module in solving an optimization problem is formulating the mathematics. And IBM and Microsoft Research are focusing on that. There's the solver itself, which has been the solvers have been around for donkey's years, actually, since the whole theory started in Second World War, and the tooling just improved since then a lot. And obviously, once you've got the solution, you need to draw some recommendations from the solution, and insights can learn a lot from the outputs from the solver. But it's you want to go from I know how to read mathematics to I know how to turn it into insights that are relevant to my business decisions that I'm making. And scenario modeling is a world where you take all this optimization problem and you formulate it for different scenarios. You have to reformulate it for scenario 1, then you could imagine a scenario 2 and you reformulate it and optimize. And you imagine scenario 3 and you reformulate and optimize and analyze, and then you compare all the scenarios and you try to make a long-term decision, usually a strategic decision around that. That makes it much more complicated. So OptiMind lives on the formulation of a problem. This is also what IBM what research is doing, and on the insights and recommendation side. My video is talking about how to use an agentic AI framework to generate the scenarios, run the scenarios, and analyze the scenarios. And obviously everybody says, okay, we're building a wrapper around the optimization solver and we want to replace them. But I believe that maybe the agent Lightning from Microsoft Research might help us also replace some of the solvers in certain cases, something that still needs looking into. OptiMind itself has a few aspects. One of them is this small LLM that they train specifically for that. You can see here that the pink is the GPT-5 and O4 Omni, so it's these over here. And OptiMind, the two versions are the blue ones. And they tested it on 3 different data sets that are relevant to this. And you can see, obviously, GPT-5 is doing very, very well. And the OptiMind is usually as good. If one case it's better, but remember, it's a much smaller model, so it comes with the benefits of running a small model locally. I believe there's a lot of potential in this field. Empowering the data scientist and democratizing the results, the access to the results, will come with significant value, and we can build a lot around that. And I'm excited to see the developments that probably will be happening in the coming year on this specific domain. Thank you very much for listening. I'll be very, very happy to receive comments or suggestions, or if anybody wants to collaborate or cooperate with me on trying to do demos or actually come up with some real-world solutions that will involve your business. Thank you.